News Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning to you. It is Coffee Ann time here on ON Radio. It's Friday morning. It's December 16th. And we thank you for joining us. My name is Joe Callahan. At the Coffee Ann table with us this morning, former mayor from the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, has joined us. And good morning to you, Mayor.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're doing well. Nice of you to join us. Dave Richards is with us as well, but he's dealing with someone in the front office right now. So Dave will join us very quickly. And we were talking on, and this is if you're listening in live on Friday morning, we would talk about the accident that's in Providence. But Bill was driving up here, and he says there's an issue on 146 near Sales Hill Road.
Right.
What did you run into, Bill?
Well, it's just they got a block coming across, two police cars, so you can't come across in Sales Hill. I don't think in either direction because it looked like the intersection. You know, if you were on 146 going north and want to take a left to
On Iron Mine Hill Road, yeah.
Yeah, is that Iron? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't.
There were two. There were at that time. There were two police, and the lights were blinking. So I don't know whether it's a light issue. I didn't see an accident, so you know.
Well, that's just,
So
I feel bad for the guys, the Benoits at Anchor Subaru. That's how you
Right.
get into the dealership,
well, they're
by taking a left at that light.
Yeah, right. They were. I've had many discussions with them because of the new construction plans.
Yeah.
They're both the Benoits. Brian is a very good friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought cars there, and so we've had some in-depth discussions because of the political end of it, And
It's more fun talking to Bob.
Well, yeah.
He's colorful.
Yeah, oh, Bob, yeah. Well, they're good. They're good people, but
Yeah,
I
they
can
are.
tell you that they, it's hopefully it's going to be. And I've said this. I drive up there a lot because of the ice rink is 146,
Right, yeah.
and I have grandchildren who are playing.
Uh-huh.
And I keep saying to my wife every time I go by this, because sometimes you're blocked till 295 to get
Yeah.
up north.
Uh-huh.
And I said, possibly they know what they're doing, and they're going to put this overpass. Will take all that out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Can I quote you? Possibly, they know what they're doing.
Well, you could because I'm an expert,
Okay.
and I'll tell you why. No, don't laugh. The roundabouts, I took a beating. I was the mayor when
And
we decided
you were
that.
right.
And Tom Ward, you ask Tom the next time he's here. Tom Ward called me maybe 2 years ago.
It'll never work.
And he said, no. Well, he always said it would never work. So
Okay.
I'm going to go throw the words back into him. And he said, I guess you were right. Those
Yeah.
things are wonderful. And I
Yeah.
just saw an article in the Valley Breeze
Mm-hmm.
about, I think from Ethan Shorey, I know it was from Ethan, who was talking about the thing. And when we started that, because we made a big decision on those roundabouts, originally the plan was to put lights. We would have had lights at Bear Hill. We would have had it the first exit, the second exit, and had industrial.
Yeah, the
and
park.
I had a great police chief, as everybody knows, Damaris, Chief Damaris, and he sat down with me and he goes, "This is not going to work because he says we're going to have the same problem with face-on traffic." And people rushing through these lights to beat the next light, which is automatic. So we sat back down with the state, and they said, "Oh, we've done it down in Warwick," which they did, but they had a tough time down there.
Oh.
And
Got a
they
tough
said,
time going through it.
But they went through it. Well, we took a beating. I'm telling you. Well, you remember the news back then.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, what are you doing? You're crazy.
Yeah.
We had public meetings, and I got just about didn't get stoned, but close to it.
Yeah.
What are you guys all crazy? And and we weren't. And a lot of people don't know this. There is no light at industrial as you come out of Industrial Park, but we have it all wired. That was the deal that we made to have it wired. So like 5 years from now, you know how everything changes, or
Yeah.
2 years from now, or 1 year, they can put a light up there
If needed.
if
Okay.
needed. And but the roundabouts now, I go through it, God, dozens of times because I live on Bay
Yeah.
Hill Road, and it's
Smooth, right?
every once in a while you get somebody that doesn't know it,
Well, yeah.
but you
That's
can't
me.
avoid that. Well, there's a few people that
I
take
go through
time
it. I go through it a few times, and it's always like, I'm saying, oh boy, Dave, don't mess up on this. Don't mess up on this. Because everything looks so different.
Yeah, but it's easy.
I have the same feeling when I go through that whole thing on Warwick down in 117.
Warwick, I think is worse. They've improved.
It's like, okay, you've got, now you can't call them rotaries because
Roundabouts?
rotaries were outlawed by the General Assembly.
There's a difference, by the way, rotaries and roundabouts.
Is that
It's in,
so?
That's
it's
what
in
the
si-
state-
it's in size, right?
When we had the experts, it's the way they're configured.
Okay.
And but that was always the
It's
wrong-
circular, and there's traffic coming in and coming
Right.
out, so I don't see the big difference, but you probably do. But you hit the first one, and then what, another one? And you got to get in the right lane. If you're not in the right lane, you don't
Yes.
get through it.
That part's true.
You just really have to follow instructions. I'll say that.
That would mean trusting street signs,
That's
which
right,
I've learned
yes.
not to do over the
Well,
years.
But it works in Cumberland.
say,
Which one lane you need to be in?
Coming back from Logan Airport, I
Oh, well,
trusted the
this-
street
well,
signs,
that's
and I
different.
ended up
That's-
on Beacon Hill.
Yeah, but that's Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah, come on.
I see,
I worked
give
there
me
for
a
years
break.
and I got lost. So I'll go along, but you can't judge Boston.
But you know what's
versus
kind of
Cumberland.
cool? If you have those little GPS things, and you have a
Oh.
good one, because there's a number of them.
Yeah.
If you have a good one, I took my daughter up to the airport one time, and there was some road closures and some construction here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sunday morning, so you figure nothing's going, but they still have it blocked off. That little GPS thing took
Told
me
you.
Around.
took me around Boston on streets only a cabbie would know,
Yeah.
that I'd never even seen before.
That's the good. You want to hear the bad?
Underneath overpasses, back up an alley, and stuff like. I mean, really, really,
But
like, hey, if yeah,
You want to hear the bad
what's
on
the bad?
GPSs?
Yeah.
what? Well, it doesn't
I go
get
to
you
New
some
York.
places.
I grew up in New York. I go back. I went back to New York and I had the GPS on.
part of New York?
Just a Bayside, which is Queens.
Yeah, right.
And so I know it well.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're approaching New York, my GPS says, "Go off to the George Washington Bridge." And I looked at my wife and I said,
Wait a minute.
"Yeah, you don't do that. The GPS is telling me."
Yeah,
And then I looked at how they tell you the time you'll arrive.
Yeah.
When we were going to my son's. And I said, "This is crazy. They're saying 2 hours from here."
Yeah.
He was a half an hour from there.
that's right.
So anyway,
But they were sending you on a
They-
route that was going to take you 2 more
2
hours.
hours. Well, and I know it like the back. I sold down there. I lived down there. And at George Washington, they were taking me down and back.
Right.
And it was just amazing. And it happened the second time, so it wasn't an accident.
Right.
Something I think when I talk to a few people, it's based on if they think there's a lot of traffic, they try to
Yeah.
keep you away from traffic. But I didn't have traffic. But they assume they assumed.
Now, see, if it was me, I would have taken the George Washington Bridge because it was
Anybody
telling
that
me.
didn't know
Because
the
I don't
area-
go. I don't go that way.
No, anybody.
Yeah.
But I use it all the time
Yeah.
because we go a lot of different places, especially in Boston because of the kids playing hockey now.
Mm-hmm.
We're back in the hockey arena, and they're great. I mean, they get you, but
They have their moments.
yeah, no, that's
If
the
I
problem.
turn my on here in the parking lot,
Yep.
and I'm going to let's say Park Square,
Yep.
it will take me up Kennedy, down Ward,
Yeah. When you start out, yeah.
down to Providence Street, come back. Why? Because that's the state route, preferred way.
Well, I come out onto Bear Hill Road out of my condo,
Yeah,
and it's an easy right, and then a right at Diamond Hill to take you to 295.
right.
It says I still haven't figured it out. Make a U-turn. Now, why do
It
I wanna
hasn't
make-
figured out your
Why do I want
roundabouts.
to make a U-turn when I'm coming out of the driveway and just take a right?
Yeah.
So
The way it was explained to me at one time, and it was because if I come out of my driveway and I want to get on 495, I have to take a left. And my GPS will tell me to take a right,
okay.
go up to this street, and do the U-turn and come back. And it was explained to me this is because you came in from that direction, so the car still thinks you're driving in that direction. So the way to get backwards is to do a U-turn.
Yeah.
It's it's a computer thing. It's a
It'll
glitch.
adjust very
It will,
easy.
it will.
You use the GPS to get home?
No,
get out
this
of
is
his
this is
driveway.
this
I
is to
shut
get
it
out of my
off
driveway.
once I'm out of the city.
No, if I'm going somewhere, but I know I have to get to 495, it always tells me to take a right out of my driveway
yeah, I
when I know 495 is to my left. So, but anyway,
Yeah, that's it.
so So just be careful around Sales Hill Road and 146. The cops are over there with the flashing lights. And we have that accident on 95. I don't know if you heard about it, Bill.
I did. I
Tractor
did on the
trailer
way here, yeah.
this morning.
Is
So
it still messed up
195
down there?
is still blocked off all
Yeah.
directions as they're trying to right that truck and get it out of there. But it
It's
must be
hanging.
quite a
was it-
mess.
Somebody said it was hanging.
It was. The cab of the truck is hanging off the highway.
There was
or
a
was.
there was a fatality, wasn't there?
They didn't say.
Oh, I thought they-
last we
I-
heard, I'll double check it again. But last we knew, it was no injuries. But
Yeah.
that certainly could have changed.
Yeah.
by
I thought
now.
they said, but I could be wrong.
All right. Now, Bill's here, and it worked out well because I saw an article in Valley Breeze, and once again, another project is coming up at Diamond Hill State Park,
Well,
and they want to do stuff, and they want to make some kind of almost like a theater. Kind of thing, a 233 seat
There's a
something.
great. That's no, it's not a theater. It's an indoor. Me and maybe I have it wrong. The one in North Providence. I think it's me and right on the lake there. That they're really tailoring it, and I did the same.
Yeah, they were
thing.
tailoring it after that.
After that,
Yeah.
and it'll be an inside, outside. It's a great. The mayor and the town has been working on it since they came into office, which now is 4 years. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. And it's been a long process. He's got some very good people. I know them that are involved in it. And that was one of his goals when he replaced me as a mayor, was to do more with Diamond Hill. We tried, but we couldn't get the money. We tried on 2 occasions, and this has been long on the waiting list. And they're really tailoring it after this facility in North Providence.
So what do they want to do?
Well, they're building actually. It's like a. I haven't seen the plans at all, but they're building it as a for indoor, because before we used to have the girls' dance program, the town's dance program there. And if you whatever function you want to have there, can be a meeting. In fact, what I read, so I'm really going by what I read, and I'm sure you read. They're in about whether they do a warming station or a full kitchen, and they're leaning to a full kitchen.
kitchen,
But they can always eliminate it if they don't have the money. The good thing is they have money that is really kind of plentiful right now. So they're working on that, and the designs are a picnic area, all long overdue. It all stemmed from, and I inherited it, and Governor McKee had the same problem, was the theater, which is a great theater, except we have the pond in front. Now they are fixing the pond now, where they've cleaned it up, which I again tried, but I didn't have the money. And the theater is something you should keep, and they've got plans for that to be able to utilize that. But it got to a point where people, actually entertainers, didn't want to entertain there because people are too far away from it. And so you got a nice, base is the best way to put it. But now they're going to have a splash pad, which is something we looked into, because you can't use, insurance-wise, you can't have those ski areas utilized again. They do use them, but it's not, authorized by the town. But the splash pad, I assume, and I'm not in the middle of the talks, they've cleared that and everything but the ski area has always been kind of a no-no because of the insurance and risks that are involved. So that whole area is going to be quite an entertainment area, and the entrances too to the park.
All right. I hope they can get it done. We do have an update, by the way, for the accident in Providence. And you're right. One person has died.
That's right.
One person has been taken to the hospital. They have not, because it involved a tractor trailer and a truck and a car. Right. And police have not said
Car got rear-ended.
which one of the drivers has passed away. yet.
Yeah.
But the one has died. One has gone to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So more on this story as they release the information. All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee and program right now, 766-1240 for comments and questions. From the amazing world-famous sandwiches to the incredible specials, Kay's Restaurant is the perfect go-to location to catch up with family and friends. Enjoy the beautiful dining room as you relax in the comfortable atmosphere. During this holiday season, a Kay's Restaurant gift card will always be appreciated. Be sure to go to Kay's Restaurant Facebook page to see the latest specials. Kay's Restaurant on the corner of Mendon Road and Cass Avenue in Socket. KaysRestaurant.com. Merry Christmas from Kay's Restaurant. They are more than a flower shop at Park Square Florist. This Christmas season, stop in to pick up a Thomas Kincaid Snowflake Fudge Shop Cottage. Perfect for decorating. Park Square Florist offers Stonewall Kitchen products. These spreads taste great on toast. And be sure to check out the Wear Your Roots t-shirts featuring Rhode Island and Massachusetts states in various sizes. For ornaments, unique religious items, and gift certificates, plus flowers, remember Park Square Florist, 1300 Park Avenue, Woonsocket. Merry Christmas from Park Square Florist. The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON Radio.
It's Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards and former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, is here. And Dave, we're going to move sponsorship segments. So this segment is sponsored by the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. So what do you see that's going on with the chamber?
Well, all kinds of things there, Joe. And our next big thing coming up is the Eggs and Issues Breakfast with Speaker of the Rhode Island House, Sakarchi. It's going to be 8:15 to 9:15, the Kirkbrake Country Club. That's January the 12th. And remember, all Coffee and listeners have dispensation to attend chamber events and do a make good listen in later on. It's sponsored by Fidelity. Also in January on the 24th, it's the HR Roundtable. All kinds of human resources rules because, you know, those General Assembly critters just love to pass laws that you have to try to figure out how to comply. And they always, when they pass the laws, put in penalties that you won't enjoy. And then they just dare you to run afoul of them because they're looking for this fine money, I think. I don't know. That sounds like a cynical point of view, but it seems to come out that way so frequently. Every year they have to make businesses pay for the mistakes of others. And there you have it. So the Pay Equity Act is coming in. Isn't this wonderful?
Bill doesn't like that idea.
No.
It's well, I mean, yeah, we can discuss this in the discussion portion, but this is reality, folks. The Pay Equity Act and your compliance, and you better comply because they're going to be out checking on you. That's for sure. It's a Zoom meeting actually. It's on January 24th, and they were very, very kind to put it during your lunch hour, so you can skip lunch and go and look at this and figure out what you're doing. It's sponsored by the Bristol County Savings Bank. It's noon to 1 during the lunch hour on January the 24th. If you're a chamber member, it's already in your inbox. All you got to do is click the big friendly blue register button. Then on the 26th of January, the Women's Business Council and the Emerging Leaders Unite, networking at Narragansett Brewery at 271 Talkwotton Street in Providence. Beautiful place, by the way. I've been there. From 5 to 7. They used to call them like business after hours. But it's like networking at Narragansett Brewery and like that. So there you have it. That's about the size of our message this time around. I'll remind you that if you'd like to become a member of the Chamber of Commerce here in Northern Rhode Island, simply got to call 334-1000. Joe?
All right, Dave, thank you very much. And just in case you were wondering, the official portrait of former House Speaker Nicholas Mattiello has been revealed at the State House. It happened this past week. I can almost guarantee that he is not wearing a Pawtucket Red Sox hat in the portrait.
That's wonderful. Why wouldn't he wear the... I
Why?
don't understand it.
You don't? Bill's,
Of course I do.
he's being glib.
Yeah.
So
No.
am I, for that matter. But
Yes.
anyway, Dave, do you understand what we're talking about here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay,
We'll-
very
we'll
good.
leave it alone.
We'll leave it
Let's-
alone
let's-
then.
let's-
Yeah,
I was there. I saw it all.
And in case you were following the story, there was a missing man from East Greenwich, and his body was found. He made it all the way to West Greenwich.
In the pond, yeah.
Yep, hanging out at the Big River Management Area, if you know that area of the state. Officials say his death does not appear to be suspicious at this time. So, but his body was found yesterday. So, Mayor, you're in. You still got the governor's ear, right?
I think, yeah. Let's say we're
more
still
important,
we're
he
still
can get his
winding down
attention.
from that lovely election run.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I do.
So you see what the governor does, and
Yep.
and one of the stories we had today, Governor Dan McKee, he's putting in additional funding of $1.5 million to help nearly 40,000 Rhode Island residents survive the cold winter months. Good idea.
Well, the funny thing about it, and I know a lot about it. I actually was with him yesterday for a brief time, and he's been doing a lot on that, but this got played out wrongly by the media. I'll say it quite frankly, with the people out on the front of the State House, and I've seen it. And
The two are connected, the electric rates and the homeless.
Well, I think it's the reason I bring that up is because it's not directly, but it's what he's been trying to do, and a lot of things get smothered because of one issue that is so crazy that it's it kind of outweighs. That's a sensational story, so the others are not. This is not new for him to. He's helped before on that. Even when he was lieutenant governor, he was one of the only lieutenant governors that fought National Grid, and I know that as a former mayor. And it's not because I know him and so on and so forth. He's done a lot on that. So this is just another step in his continual effort to do the right thing. And everybody criticized, if everybody remembers during the election, because his opponents was especially the young lady that ran against him.
Kalis?
Kalis is correct. And she was all over him about, you're not helping right away. Well, he certainly was. He was working on these. And these are things that he said he was working on, and now you see them coming front and center. So I think that's what's important to note, and I'm not, not trying to, the governor can protect himself, but he's doing a lot of things, and I know he's got some big plans. I personally have talked to him about the plans for next 4 years that he wants to do, because everything got really sideswiped with the election they had. It was a tough primary,
Yeah.
and then, but look what happened is at the end we never expected it. We would have been happy with a 7-point to 9-point victory. We didn't think he would get beat. And then when he pulls off 19 points, it just showed that his message did get through for what he was trying to say.
Now, in terms of the homeless encampment going on down there, Dave, did I hear you correctly on one of the news stories that a lot of the people down there that are protesting actually aren't homeless?
We can't say that for sure because I don't have the list of people.
Well, I know, but some.
The comment that I made was a comment during the newscast to characterize what we are now seeing in the press releases without getting very wordy. Now on Coffee M we can get wordy.
All right.
But during a 30 to 40 second news story, you just can't get wordy.
Right.
So I may have been able to choose better words for that. But the fact is that they're no longer going forward with hey, it's state land and we're state citizens because we are here and we sleep in this state, so we can sleep any doggone place we want on state property.
Okay.
Because
They're
they're
cooling
not
that?
stupid and they realize that's not going to work long term.
Okay.
That's right.
So they've changed their tack.
And what is it
what
now?
they've done is they've gone, well, it's a long story, and
Yeah.
it doesn't fit in a news story, so I'm glad you asked so I can get it out there. They note that earlier in this calendar year, a politician and an activist set up a tent on the grounds of the State House. This was back in earlier in the year. I'm thinking it's August. When it was warm weather, you know.
June, July. I
And they
think.
did that simply to protest
What are they protesting?
the lack of government's activity to take care of the homeless, to solve the homeless problem.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Which I think any thinking person knows that it's a fairly unsolvable problem, but these people are looking for the government to solve it because they're citizens and they can ask their government to do something, whether the government's capable of it or not.
Excuse me, that was when the politicians got involved
Right.
Yeah.
for the election. It was all based on Brown,
Yeah.
who ran against the governor, and then his, I think it's his wife who was running for lieutenant governor.
Right.
That's what they started.
Okay.
And it, so I'm
Snowball
sorry to
from there.
interject,
So,
but-
so because that right there was an issue, and you'll probably get a lot more mileage when you're going into court trying to make an argument about the protest, the First Amendment value of a protest, then they felt that they changed tack completely. And then, of course, they were able, because it's a constitutional issue as well, to go back and get an awful lot of case law. And they very generally, they're good lawyers at the ACLU. I mean, they know their stuff. And they were able to pull up enough boilerplate, enough case law, and enough this to send a huge, unfathomable stack of information to the judge, R. David Cruz, a person that you know very well, Bill.
I must know, yeah.
Because he's a Cumberland boy.
Yes.
But he's now a Superior Court judge.
Yes, that's correct.
And to basically smother Judge Cruz with information.
With so much information.
Yeah.
And knowing that he only had a very few days to look at it.
Yeah.
And so the judge looked at it and he said, all right, well, listen, we're going to have a postponement while I wade through this, because this isn't the only thing I'm doing. I have a job to
cases.
do besides all the
he has a
cases.
calendar with many
Right,
cases.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's just no way to get to all of this, and he says, and it deserves my scrutiny. So, to his credit, he said, okay, we're going to do that. But that, of course, had the desired effect as well in installing the whole thing. The longer they can stall this, the better off they are, till people just get to be sick about hearing about it and all that. I will tell you more things. Excuse me, I got a little frog in the throat today. The ACLU has been very, very good at supplying the news media with extraordinarily detailed information
Absolutely.
about what they're doing.
All right.
You know when they're trying to get news media coverage. You know when they're trying to get people actively involved against the government when they're tackling the government, because they are experts at it. And listen to this one. In Judge Cruz's chambers today, at I believe it's 11:30.
11:30, yeah.
11:30 is and that's courtroom 5, third floor. I'm familiar with that because I spent a lot of time on the third floor this past year. But the deal is this: they're going to have a hearing, and the ACLU has made it possible and distributed a link to news organizations in the state and put it out on the web that you can watch and listen
You can follow along.
to this
Okay.
hearing.
Wow.
Now, I've been doing this job for 50 plus years, and I'm telling you, I've never seen it go that far.
Wow.
But they are going to the mat on this one.
What do you hear
When I
from-
say they, I'm talking about ACLU.
Right, the ACLU.
And then they got the justice
Yeah.
group there with them as well.
Bill, is this really weighing on the governor's mind?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can tell you, and he mentioned to me yesterday, and I had known about it. So Saturday morning, a lot of people kind of have a different version of what is happening. And but I can tell you, he's a very sincere person, and it's not because he's.
Well, sure. They said, what are you
it's
going
not
to do about
because
the
of-
homelessness?
Right.
And he says, okay, Cranston Street Armory,
right.
get the National Guard in there, do this,
And,
do
that,
that.
and that's
We'll
going to
have-
happen at 5 o'clock.
Ripta's going to take them out there for free.
Yeah.
We're going to give them every
Right.
possible way to get shelter.
And they said
Get
no.
them out of there.
And I
yeah,
know
they said no.
They said
I
no,
know
we don't
his
want it.
top. Well, I know his top person who has been there. A lot of people don't know. One of them had the hypothermia on Saturday. They had to lug out of there.
Wow.
Why they're staying? To what are they proving? He said, if you ever was there, this is a person, not the governor.
Yeah.
he's personally been there because he's in charge of it. I don't want to mention names. And he said the conditions are so bad.
That's what I'm
with
hearing.
Needles and human waste,
Yeah,
and this is not a made-up story.
Right.
But going back to the governor said, I got in the car at 8 o'clock or 7, whatever it was, and they took me around for what we thought we knew, these encampments.
Yeah.
We didn't find anybody. He's also told me that he's checked with many of the major administrators and mayors like Picozzi in Warwick and said, would you check with your police? What encampments do you have? We want to see the encampments. It came on the news yesterday that Saul, who is the head of housing, asked and more or less demanded, you give us proof of where these encampments are. We can't find them. So the encampments have been told, they've had people out there. So he gave them, I don't know where it went, but I heard this late yesterday afternoon, that he wanted the list of the encampments, and they supposedly have a log of these homeless. And that's what they're demanding now. But it's just a strange story as to, wouldn't you want to, if you know where the encampments are, you give that list out. Don't have them go guessing what it is. But the governor, again, in his defense, took it upon himself on Saturday to ride around. That's not a made-up story. He literally, I don't know how many he tried to look for, never found one.
There's one here in Woonsocket.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I know
there's
exactly
one
where it
used to
is.
be
Yeah.
behind the Stop and Shop. But what you've got to understand is, I've sent the police in when I was mayor, and it wasn't.
Stop and Shop in Cumberland?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, in that old EPA.
Yeah, down by Ann
recovery
Hope,
down there.
Yeah.
But what happens is they go in there at night, but they disappear during the day.
Okay.
And because I've sent the Cumberland police in and couldn't find them. They've seen where they
Saw where they were, but they weren't there.
No, and that's what happens with it. I'll bet you in Woonsocket, you might not know where it is. And
But I've seen it set up during the day there.
well, but
the
I
banks
don't
of the
think they're
Blackstone.
there because they're either out on
Well,
the
the people
street
might
or-
not be there.
yeah,
You're right.
but-
They've walked away from
But
it.
there was, that type of deal. But I mean, they knew, they just can't put their fingers on it. But the bottom line is, why would these people subject? Well, what was it, Thursday? No, over the weekend, that bad night we had with weather.
Yeah, Sunday.
And as I said, that one of them got hypothermia, which they were worried about. And this is a big concern.
All right. Rich Lane has joined us from Post 85
Hey,
here
Rich.
in
Hey.
Woonsocket. Hi, Rich.
Hello, Rich.
Hi.
Nice to have you here with us. We're going to hear from what's going on at the American Legion Post in just a minute. And time for the weather forecast being brought to you by Batteries Plus Bulbs.
Rain today and lots of it, with a high of 43 degrees and a northeast wind up to 40 miles per hour. New precipitation amounts during the day today of 1 to 2 inches of rain possible. Tonight, more rain, mainly before 4 a.m. Overnight low of 36, northeast winds gusting to 35 miles per hour. Your chance of precipitation overnight 80%, and another half an inch of rain is possible. Saturday's weather, a chance of rain mainly before 10 a.m., cloudy skies becoming gradually mostly sunny with a high near 41, but windy from the northwest up to 28 miles per hour. Sunday, sunshine and 37. Monday, sunshine and 40. Tuesday, sunshine and 39. Wednesday, sunshine and 38. Thursday, 50-50 chance of snow with a high of 34.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street with the cloudy skies. We've got rain and 41 degrees. At Batteries Plus, they do more than fix phones and tablets. They help our neighbors power their lives. Visit Batteries Plus in-store, curbside, and online at batteriesplus.com.
Dollars spent at home circulate throughout the community. What that means is every time you shop here at home, instead of spending your money with some mail-order catalog or online business hundreds of miles away, you're helping to retain existing jobs and even create new ones. A strong local economy can afford to improve community facilities and services, parks and playgrounds, streets and sidewalks. It's really that simple. Shopping locally benefits everyone in the community. So this holiday season, please invest in your community and your future, and keep your dollars working here at home.
One of our great hometown merchants is Pepin Lumber, 830 Cumberland Hill Road, Woonsocket.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
While you're out gathering Christmas gifts this season, keep this in mind. Everyone will love receiving a gift card from the Beef Barn. Stop into either Beef Barn location, 160 Pulaski Boulevard, Bellingham, or 200 Industrial Drive, North Smithfield, to purchase gift cards for the people on your list. While there, feel free to order a slow-cooked roast beef sandwich for yourself. This year, please everyone with a gift card from the place that everyone loves, the Beef Barn.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Richards. Among the items we'll put up for bid on the Friday Milk Fund Radio Auction are a holiday box of Jelly Billy jelly beans, a Soaring Eagle fleece throw, a House of Lloyd toy shop wind-up, and a Do You Remember memo pad. Plus, gift cards from the Beef Barn, Burger King, KFC, Executive Auto Wash, a Butterball ham from Little General Stores, and 2 tickets to see Marie Osmond next week at PPAC, donated by Navigant Credit Union. So join me, Joe Callahan, and our special guest auctioneer, Paul Bourget, chairman of the Woonsocket School Committee, for all the fun on the Friday Milk Fund Radio Auction from 4 to 5 here and only on ON Radio.
ON Radio.
This portion of the Coffee and Program is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
Since its founding in 1996, the Valley Breeze has been the trusted source for local news in the Blackstone Valley. Our readers and advertisers understand that shining a light on all aspects of our communities and doing it with some of the best local journalism anywhere makes these cities and towns better places to live in. We believe that truth has value and should triumph over rumors and misinformation. See valleybreeze.com or any of our 5 editions for more on how you can be part of this local news success story.
All right, Coffee and Hair on ON Radio. Joe Callahan here, along with Dave Richards, former mayor for the town of Cumberland. Bill Murray's here, and Rich Elaine from American Legion Post 85 is here. Nice to see Rich. Rich wasn't feeling that great last week, so we said, please stay home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he did.
Yes, I did. Yes,
We don't
I
need
did.
your watery eyes here.
No,
So-
no, but we're back to normal.
Excellent.
Back to normal.
Glad to
if
hear
I
it.
ever was normal.
Just to tell us, keep us up to date, what's going on at Post 85?
Yeah, well, I mean, we were just talking a little bit off the air a couple of weeks ago. We took a group of guys from down at Post 85. 3 of us went down there to do a little color guard ceremony. One of the Mount St. Charles Hockey Academy, I guess. They had a group of kids. I think it was the 15 and under group. Played some team from Florida, believe it or not. And they asked us to go down there with a color guard, and they just wanted to honor armed forces people. So we went down there, did the color guard detail, and they asked people for donations when they came in the door. And the thing is that 50% of the half of the donations would go to my American Legion Post 85, and the other half would go to the Veterans Museum here in Woonsocket. So they raised a total of $800 in donations. We want to thank all the people that gave a little money.
That's great.
So 400 of it goes over to our post, to, help us there, and 400 goes to the museum, the Veterans Museum here in Woonsocket. So
Now you were
great
part
night.
of the color guard, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, how was that going
It was
on the
pretty
ice?
neat.
Nice?
I enjoyed it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you got the nostalgia down there at the Mount too, at the old rink. And it just gives you
It
that.
certainly is an old rink.
Oh God!
It was old when
please.
I played.
I
That
mean,
was
it
40 years ago.
It was funny because they wanted the color guard to come in, where the benches are.
Yeah.
And so you look around the rink and you go, okay, how do you get to the benches? Well, you got to cut
in and-
through the locker room.
Behind, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't put skates on you?
No, they didn't. And then we.
I hope they put a rug out for you.
Yeah, they did.
Okay,
and then,
good.
and then we kind of got out there, and that was kind of funny too, because, I mean, sometimes I go a little overboard, but I'm all about flag etiquette. You know? And you're not supposed to be shown as the color guard until you're mounted and ready to go.
Okay.
So they had us come in where the benches are, and so now we got to put the flags together.
Yeah.
And the balcony.
There's not much.
There's no
not
headroom.
much
I
room,
could
no.
have went like this with my hand, and then the where we had to step out is literally right there.
Yeah.
And
Not
so
much
it's like,
room at
okay,
all.
how the hell are we going to put the flags together?
Was that on the left or the right-hand
Yeah.
side?
To the le-
Facing the rink? Left?
we actually faced the front entrance when we
Okay.
stepped out onto the ice.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there was a little thing I said, well, you know, man, how about making it easy on us? Just have us walk down where the Zamboni is. So walk
Oh,
in,
yeah, walk
but
out that door.
God, but it went good. It
All
went
right.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody enjoyed it. So, but one thing I didn't realize, and with the entities that we have in the city of Woonsocket for military places, is there's no color guard.
No kidding.
There's no color guard that's established. So if we got a veteran that passes away in Woonsocket and somebody picks up the phone and say, gee, we'd like a color guard or, you know, a flag folding, right? There's nobody in Woonsocket. So that's something I want to work on after the holidays. I mean, we've got St. Joe's Vets. We have we have the AmVets Post 7. We have our facility. You know, and we can do that. If we get together and I was looking at how, you know, the cost of outfitting
Expensive, right?
one person in a color guard, you're looking at anywhere between $800 and $1,000 a head.
And you have to have at least 3, right?
Yeah, you got to have at least 3. You know, we're hoping
Mm-hmm.
for 5, but my idea would be like with all the entities, the military entities we have in Woonsocket, maybe we could get together with all of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, put
Share the
something
cost.
together, share the cost, maybe have a little fundraiser, a little spaghetti supper, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're going to figure something out because I think it's long overdue. We should have a color guard to represent, you know, any person in the area that passes away. You want to call a place and say, hey, look, can you give us a color guard? Yeah, let's be able to do that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's long overdue. So we'll work on that after the
That'd
first
be a
of the year.
great touch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
it would
touch,
for
yeah.
this area.
That's a great project to take on, Rich.
Yeah, just another one. My wife will be so happy. But what else is going on? Not much, really, because I usually
Well, it's
talk my
Christmas
head
time,
off.
so,
But,
yeah.
yeah, with Christmas coming. But one thing that's happening tonight at the William Shields Post down in Warwick, Rhode Island, at 6 o'clock, the auxiliary national president is in the area this weekend. She's going to be down there, so I'm going to go down there with some of the people with the auxiliary and with our commander Bob Lafort, and they're going to do a little thing down at the William Shields Post in Warwick called A Taste of Rhode Island. So basically, all the auxiliaries that are going to show up down there tonight from the different areas of Rhode Island, like I had asked Dave a couple of weeks ago about the history of dynamites because our auxiliary is going to bring dynamites down there.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
That's
You know, now I don't know. You're probably Bill and Dave. You probably know, you know, the area around Rhode Island better than I do. The other auxiliaries are going to bring like foods for their area. So I mean,
Yeah.
if we have 6 or 7 different auxiliaries from around the state there tonight, for $10, it's open to the public, by the way.
That would be a great
$10.
Yeah.
That's all it's going to cost you. It starts
Wow.
at 6 o'clock tonight down the William Shields Post in Warwick. But for $10, you can go down there and, or at least you can grab a dynamite from the Woonsocket area.
Plus, you'll probably get stuffies.
Yes.
Stuffies, yeah.
You-
Well,
you- you'll
Calamari.
yeah.
get Calamari, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't had breakfast
That's a
this
great-
morning, so I'm going to build up my appetite. I'll tell you that much. My $10 will be on the table at 6. So, like I say, you got nothing to do tonight. It's kind of crummy weather, but take a ride down to the William Shields Post.
It's inside. Right?
It's inside, yeah. Yeah, come on down there, meet some very nice people, and you know,
Has some great food.
have some great food. Yeah, for $10, you ain't going to get a better deal. That's for sure.
All right. I don't want to start a new subject right now, so we're going to take a quick break here on the Coffee Ann program. This segment of Coffee Ann has been sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
Since its founding in 1996, the Valley Breeze has been the trusted source for local news in the Blackstone Valley. Our readers and advertisers understand that shining a light on all aspects of our communities and doing it with some of the best local journalism anywhere makes these cities and towns better places to live in. We believe that truth has value and should triumph over rumors and misinformation. See valleybreeze.com or any of our 5 editions for more on how you can be part of this local news success story.
Happy holidays from all of us at Chan's. Chan's is open Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day for dining and takeout. It's a tradition to call in your orders early. Holiday gift certificates are a perfect gift of good taste. Chan's party platters are ideal for all your party needs. Let Chan's do the cooking. Oh, it's so good. Ring in the new year with the Fat City Band. $60 per person, includes dinner buffet, hats, noisemakers, and champagne toast at midnight. Come dance the night away at Chan's.
Did you know you can shop local this holiday season?
And ski and ride free till December 24th.
Shop at Mountainside Ski and Ride at Wachusett Mountain.
Spend $100 or more and get a free lift ticket good through Christmas Eve.
Located in the Wachusett Beach Lodge, Mountainside guarantees lowest prices.
Check us out on the web at wachusett.com.
Hi, this is Bob Phillips. My family and I would like to wish you holiday greetings and Christmas wishes. May this season be filled with cheer. May good friends and family be there to share your Christmas joys, and may good fortune follow you today and throughout the years ahead. Merry Christmas from Bob Phillips and family.
So you're remodeling your home and you want to find just the right flooring. So off you go to DRL Carpet. Why? Because they have the best selection and prices in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. That means you don't have to wait. Plus, it means you can get it installed now. So first you get the best price, next you get the best service, and you get the best selection. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, hardwood floors, the place to shop is DRL Carpet, 27 Veterans Way, Woonsocket, next to World War II Veterans Memorial Park. DRL Carpet reminds you there's a big difference between getting the job done and getting the job done right. DRL Carpet of Woonsocket.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It is Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Richard Lane from Post 85 here in Woonsocket. Former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, and Dave Richards. And I wanted to bring it up because you brought up a little earlier, Dave. And Bill Murray was shaking his head. Oh no, it's going to start. Explain what the pay equity is, and then why it's not a good idea.
Well, I didn't say it was a bad idea. I
said Bill might say it's a bad idea, but
okay.
you can explain what the pay equity bill.
Maybe I could
is?
change my mind.
Maybe you change your mind. So what is it, Dave? In a nutshell.
Well, in a nutshell, it's more tail wagging the dog. I guess the best way to say it, and this just doesn't really explain it much, Joe, but the best way to explain it and cover everything is it's another vain attempt by political entities within the government to attempt to enforce morality on people whose morality doesn't match theirs.
Okay.
All right. And you can't legislate morality, and this is one of the truths of the universe. But they keep trying in order to brag to their friends that they've done all these wonderful things that simply create more problems, because trying to legislate morality is like nailing Jell-O to the wall. It's a fun activity, but it really doesn't accomplish what you're looking, because it makes a mess. It makes new problems and things like that. And there's other reasons why I have a negative attitude toward this sort of thing. But in general, anything that tries to legislate morality, I look at it and say, don't be taking any bows for this, because you realize you've just created 3 new problems trying to solve one. Now, how far did I get a feel on that one there, Bill?
I think it was well put, because that's why I shook my head, is that the meddling is just to create something.
Yeah, why would anybody run a business with this kind of government interference?
Let's put it this way. In the business world, it's difficult to make money now. It always has been. If you're going to run a good business,
right? Why
complicate things and make them so that you have to change your style and stuff to take over from some of the errors that have been made.
Right.
And that's what it really is that they're trying to basically legislate to change things. You have to do this, and that creates another problem on top of whatever problem.
But can I interrupt for a minute?
Yeah, sure,
Bill?
go ahead.
And what it does is it creates a new job for more people,
Absolutely.
for enforcement.
Right.
It bloats government, because now they have the responsibility to check there's no trust.
No.
But to verify that people are complying with the new law
Right.
that they passed, and how they get them passed is all one of this. Hey, you're in favor of little babies and mommies, aren't you? If you're not, we're going to call you a racist or something, and you won't get reelected, and you won't be happy. And so they force people to vote these things in when you know that what is going to happen next. Now, just play the game out like a chess game, friends. Anybody, well, let's bring it down a notch or two. How about pool? Something that everybody can understand. Will you ever win a game of pool consistently without figuring out what your next shot and your next to the next shot's going to be before you push that? Right. That's how the game is played. You can't play chess without knowing, well, okay, I'm going to do this, and it's likely to happen this way, and this way, and so I'm going to choose this move based on what will probably happen next. Okay, fine. But they don't do that in government. Because what's going to happen next is that you're going to have people game that system. What's going to happen next is the courts will get further clogged with people claiming, oh, I was discriminated against because they didn't comply with this law and all the rest of that sort of thing like that. Right. There hasn't been one moment in the world that people, right-minded people, I'll just call this right-minded people, haven't agreed that you should be paying a worker. Don't be thinking about whether they're a marginalized group, a different race, a different sex, or anything else like that. When I first got into management here in the broadcasting business back in the early 1970s, guess what? We were taught you don't look at race, religion, you don't look at sex, you don't look at any of that stuff. You suit the human being applicant to the task at hand.
Absolutely.
And try to match their abilities with that task. And that's what you had to do. Now, it was a difficult concept for some people to get. And so there's gaming of the system on both sides. I mean, I can name a TV anchor in Providence that got their job because they were a certain sex. And because they just used that to get that job. And but not that they weren't totally capable, but that they were favored over another, perhaps more capable or equally capable person because they used that rule there. So anyway, we were taught to do it that way. And anybody who's not doing it that right way, I think all of society will join me in saying that they're wrong. And I believe that they're wrong. And I wouldn't do it that way.
No.
But the fact is, all the people who are doing it right are going to be penalized for a few rotten people, and there are already laws on the books to take care of those people.
And I've been in the business world for many years.
Right.
And I'm going way back when there was always, well, you didn't promote women or anything like that, and it changes. But the bottom line on a business running a business is going to hire the right people and pay them the right amount to make money. That's the bottom line, and that's the whole scheme. And that's why I said earlier that you stop putting these in, you have to do this. My biggest question is, who's going to monitor this? I always ask the question, again, when I was mayor, is that, let's put up more street signs. I said, do you want to give me more police? Did we put out more police? Because you can put up 50, stop signs. If you don't have the police to watch it, what good are them? You know? And I think that goes back to this, Dave, is it the same exact thing. People who are good people that make money because they don't look at, the race or whoever.
Right.
They look at the person and the right job. I can say this firmly, and the government is very bad at this because my grandson works down at the Senate. He works for the White House. And he's told me, you can't believe some of the people that are hired because of a situation that they're worried about.
They're not the best person.
They're not the best, exactly. In his case, he'll have to do extra work because the job has to be done.
To make up what's not being done.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think that's what you have to look at, the bottom line.
All right. Well, That's the government for
Does
you.
does that explain it? Do you think?
Well,
Are
it
you
has a
satisfied with the explanation?
yeah.
Think you understand?
Are we?
Because it's not that easy.
Has a government entity been set up that's going to go check on businesses like
what
you,
there already
Dave,
is,
that
Department of
says
Business
to make
Regulation.
sure you're
Bus-
hiring the X number of this people, X number of this
Yes.
people, and X number of this people.
And then when the government doesn't feel like doing it anymore, they'll
Yeah.
just make sure the companies have to give in affidavits and reports, buku.
yeah.
But that's not the only thing. If you have somebody that wants to cause trouble,
Yeah,
that's
what, I'm
what
saying.
you're going to
Gamers.
see. So
Yeah.
you now business regulations, because I've dealt with them, can't handle what they have.
Mm-hmm.
So you put this extra burden on them. That's tough, but it's going to be that activist who wants to make a point and say, "Oh yeah, I wasn't hired," or whatever you want to come up with. Now that's where it causes problems, and it could be a good company.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in my belief. Maybe it won't happen, but I think it will because it's people out there looking for trouble.
Who want to get
What-
ahead
you
on
got it.
someone else's nickel.
You got it. I'm with you now. I'm
Or
not
they,
always with
or
you,
they want
but-
that nickel in addition to,
Right.
right. No.
All right, we got a few more minutes to go here in the program, so I wanted to bring this up to Rich. Don't worry, I got nothing about animals. No snakes, no crocodiles, nothing like that today.
Gee,
That
thanks.
bother you. I know that. So, but don't try this. Okay, this is one of the things you don't try.
Don't try this.
There's a man in Arizona that gave this a try, and he got pulled over and got a ticket. Okay, the Arizona Department of Public Safety says a man was driving in the HOV lane, and he had in the passenger side an inflatable Grinch riding as his passenger.
All right.
You
Not
can't.
a natural
You can't.
person.
You can't do that.
That's not new, by the way.
No,
they did
people
that
try
on
that
the
all the time.
expressway. They
Did
did.
they?
No, they used to put mannequins.
Mannequins, but this time because it's Christmas, we're going to put
yeah.
we're going to put an inflatable Grinch, and a state trooper saw it and pulled the car over, and
Gave the Grinch a ticket.
they have to get the other guy. They said the grumpy green guy in the front seat did not qualify the car as a high occupancy vehicle. HOV, since the driver was the only actual person in the car. So you're right, Dave. You have to be an actual person
You have to be a natural person.
to be in the passenger
And prove it.
and prove it. And when you're an inflatable Grinch, it's not going to work. So don't give it a shot, okay, Rich?
So what did I mean, any more to it than that? Did the guy get cited? Or,
He got a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
I don't know,
yeah,
$50 ticket. I
you
don't
know,
know.
you know-
he gave it a shot. Probably got away with it for a little while.
You know, I'm not. I mean, I got a lot of respect for law enforcement people. Always have, always will. But
Mm-hmm.
I must admit, if I were the state trooper to pull the guy over, I probably would have just laughed
Laughed.
and said, "Buddy, knock it off. Will you get in your car?" And you know.
Well, maybe the state trooper was having a bad day.
He could have, you know, but God, you know, look, and once again, let me preface it again by saying I love law enforcement
Mm-hmm.
people.
All right, as we all
Laws are
know,
laws.
yeah, as we all know, marijuana, recreational marijuana is now available in legal here in the state of Rhode Island.
Ain't in Russia, we know that.
That's a good point.
But here's a bad situation. I guess I would say it is legal in South Carolina, but I'm not sure. But a teenager is in custody. He was at the Newberry County in South Carolina at a school down there. He was found non-responsive after he ate a marijuana edible. I'm surprised you don't hear more of this kind of story. The
You
student
will.
told first responders that another student had given them the marijuana edible, and he ate it during school. The incident happened on Monday. The student who gave the marijuana edible was identified and arrested. A search warrant for the student's home resulted in police finding more edibles, more marijuana, more money, and more gun. This kid's turning it into a business.
Sure.
I don't know how he gets it. I can get the marijuana edibles for you, so I'm just going to take it in and I'm going to. It looks like he gave it to this guy, but I can sell it to you. So
Well,
what do you think?
They've had cases where the edibles are hanging around, and a young person who doesn't know any better thinks it's, has ate it, digested, could kill them.
Yeah. Wow. And the kid's like, hey, great.
Yeah.
I don't smoke it, so I won't get caught doing that. This
How
will be
about
real
the
quick.
fentanyl that's coming into this country and
Oh,
made up
that's-
as candies?
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's terrible.
It's bad.
It is. All right, I do have an animal story for you, Rich. Though.
All right,
here you
all
go.
right. Yay,
Lions and
yay.
tigers and bears. Oh my!
Nope, these are sharks. A man, sharks. A man was he used a diving knife, and does anyone know what a diving knife is?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What do you use a diving knife for?
To dive.
Cutting things if you dive.
While you're under the water.
Mostly things that you could get entangled in, like lines from
And nets.
fishing
Okay.
boats, lobster traps, things that you might get entangled in. It could save your life.
Well, it saved this guy's life because he was getting attacked by a shark off one of the Hawaiian Islands.
Hit him in the nose.
Well, it doesn't say that. He's being treated at a hospital. The USA Today reported the tiger shark, and those are, you don't want to mess
They're
with those.
fast and they're mean.
Tiger sharks attacked the 68-year-old man who was swimming off the northwest coast of the Big Island on Tuesday morning. The 12-foot-long shark, and I bet it looked 25 feet long when it was coming at you. The 12-foot-long shark was biting the man's torso, and only let go when the man used a diving knife to fend it off. Paddleboarders helped pull the man out of the water, and Hawaii Fire Department crew took him to a local hospital before he was transferred to a hospital on Oahu. I wish it said where he was hitting the shark
You
with
would
the
hit
knife.
him in the snout.
I bet he was hitting him wherever he could hit him.
Well, you got a point there, but the
Especially
snout would be right
if it's
there.
chewing
you
on
get
your
him in the
chest.
torso, yeah.
He probably was getting him in the head.
Yeah.
Close enough.
I like my swimming pool in the backyard.
No sharks, right?
It's great.
The shark is more vulnerable in the snout.
Maybe a
All right.
frog, right?
Yeah, a frog or two,
Yeah,
maybe.
frog.
You know, a couple of
Yeah, but they-
mosquitoes. I'm good.
They don't. The frogs don't attack though. They leave you alone. Mosquitoes come after you. Though.
None of those attack frogs.
All right, that'll wrap it up for today. We thank you very much for listening in, everyone. Dave Richards, thanks for being here.
Pleasure being here with these fine gentlemen today.
All right, former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, thanks for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Very good. And Rich Lane, thanks for. Glad you're feeling better. Glad you can make it.
Thank you. Give me about 10 seconds. We're going to go with our auxiliary people and some of the people at Post tomorrow down to Exeter, down to the Do Reese Across America.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's
so,
right. Yeah, this
down at the
weekend.
Veterans Cemetery. So down next to the Rhode Island. So we're happy to do that, and going to go down there with about a dozen people or so.
Excellent.
Great.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. Gary Smith and the crew are coming in at 9:30 with Do You Remember? Milk Fun Auction this afternoon at 4 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Another